What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Chainlink. But before we get started, if you're not a member of the free Discord, please click the link in the description box below and get started with the free Discord. And without further ado, we'll get straight into today's video. Okay, so Chainlink. The first thing we're going to talk about today is the falling wedge pattern that we see here on Chainlink. We did break bullish out of this falling wedge, and we're starting to break out after a retest of the resistance of the wedge. As you can see, we broke out bullish right here, came back down and tested support, and now we're starting to break bullish again. So we do have a little market cycle here as well. You can see that price did a cycle. Just here within this circle, we have a market cycle. We have 5 waves up. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And then we pull back for our ABC correction, A, B, and C wave all the way back down. So that's a perfect little market cycle here. And it's actually a smaller version of the bigger cycle, which we will talk about in a second. So I really like this setup here on Chainlink. We are also really oversold. You can see we're oversold on the 3-day, on the MACD, and we have a bullish cross, which is actually a buy signal. When this little blue line crosses up through this orange line, when you're oversold, that's actually a buy signal. So I really like that setup here with Chainlink on the 3-day candlesticks. Now let's remove all the drawing tools here and take a look at Chainlink on the bigger time frame, because you can see that the bigger time frame is actually the exact same thing as the smaller time frame. We have a market cycle right here, and that's just a bigger version of that little market cycle that we just counted Elliott waves on, and we can count our Elliott waves here as well. We have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Then we get our ABC correction back down just in the same way. And also you can see that we did break out of a wedge as well here on Chainlink. So there's a bit of a wedge that we broke out of. So this bigger cycle is the exact same thing as the smaller cycle. And we actually call that an echo cycle. So basically this big cycle made a market cycle here, and this little cycle made a market cycle. It's just a smaller version of the bigger cycle. It's the exact same thing. It's just a smaller version. So it's a little echo of the bigger market cycle. And this happens a lot in markets. You'll get a huge run up in the market, then you'll pull back, and you'll get another little run up, and it will pull back again, and then you start a new bull market, and it looks a lot like this here on Chainlink. And we've seen this over and over again with crypto, but we've also seen it with stuff like the NASDAQ. You know, if you go look at the internet bubble, and you look at the market cycle that occurred during the internet bubble, and you do a little bit of TA here, you can see the exact same thing, right? We have a market cycle here, 5 waves up, ABC correction. Then you get a little echo cycle right next to it, and then a bull market starts. So that's something we see consistently in a lot of different markets, and it's something that happens all the time. It's very, very common. In fact, silver did a little mini version of this same echo cycle. So if we take a look at silver futures, and this is actually a lot more like what we're seeing here on Chainlink. And so you have silver here, we have a big market cycle right here, you can see, and then we get, what do we get right here? A little echo cycle. It's the same thing as the bigger cycle, it's just a smaller version of the same thing. And now we're starting a bull market here on silver. So that's super, super powerful to understand that one little concept about market cycles. Whenever you have a big picture cycle like this, when I'm talking big picture, I mean, you know, zoomed out to where you can see multiple years, or at least to where you can see an entire market cycle, which usually means at least the 1-day time frame or higher, then you're going to get a little echo cycle afterwards. And over here, we'll just pull up Chainlink again. By the way, Wrapped Dog is breaking out of a triangle. Super, super good play. I have a bunch of money in Wrapped Dog, and I think it's going to go really high. So if you're not in on Wrapped Dog, definitely check it out. Little side note there. And by the way, you guys, apply for the mastermind coaching below so you can learn about this stuff too. So you guys can actually learn how to find these cycles, learn how to find the echo cycles, and learn how to play these markets just like how professionals do. It's really simple. You just fill out a little Google form, link in the description box below. So over here on the right, we have Chainlink, and over here on the left, we have silver. So you can see that Chainlink actually looks exactly like silver. Isn't that crazy? Right here, where Chainlink is really undervalued in the short term as well as in the big picture, because we're all the way down from $52 down, is almost exactly like right here on silver, where silver had that little echo cycle and pulled back. That's the same human psychology, the same fractal of human emotion, the same market cycle that's taking place here on Chainlink that we saw already happen here with silver. This is what I'm saying when I talk about how markets are fractal in all time frames and all markets, and it doesn't matter whether you're trading gold or silver or stocks, you're going to see the same patterns appearing over and over and over again in the markets, which is super cool if you ask me. That's one of the coolest things I've ever learned about trading and investing, is just how similar all of these different things are across all the different markets, all the different types of markets and coins and stocks and commodities. They're all really the same thing. Because why? Because human emotion occurs on all of the markets. People are trading these things. And also, yeah, of course, there's bots and stuff too, and trading algorithms. But the majority of the time, in the bigger picture especially, there's still a bunch of human emotion taking place in the chart, and you can see that very clearly in these charts. So buying Chainlink right now is a lot like buying the dip on silver when it was worth $17 before it started to break out. And by the way, if we go back over to the NASDAQ chart, you can see that silver's actually starting a bull market right now, and the NASDAQ is a great example of what I'm talking about here, of what it looks like when that bull market goes into full force. So silver's like right here, right? Chainlink is like right here. Silver is like right here. Both Chainlink and silver are getting ready to do this big parabolic run, just like what happened to the NASDAQ. Based on market cycles and human psychology, you can see just how similar the structure is between all of these markets. It's actually astonishing once you start to learn this stuff and realize just how powerful this really is for making money in these markets and actually being able to foresee the future. Which, if anybody is trying to do technical analysis in the big time frame, what are you doing if you're not trying to understand what's coming in the market? That's the whole point of this, is to be able to produce profit based on what you know is going to happen based on technical analysis, and it's really powerful once you start to understand this stuff. So yeah, that's my view on Chainlink. I do expect a big bull market coming on Chainlink, one that's really going to blow a lot of people away, a big picture reversal. Chainlink is doing big things. Chainlink is partnered with Google, partnered with a bunch of big companies. I think Chainlink is going to go nuts, so don't sleep on Chainlink. Otherwise, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to have done this as it breaks out of its bearish, as it breaks out of this bear market right here and starts to go into a bull market. And as that bearish sentiment shifts into a bullish sentiment, you're going to be like, hey, the price is way high now and I didn't buy when it was worth $10. And I could have. And you're going to be mad at yourself. So don't do that. Instead, be smart, because I know you guys are smart. Buy the dip while you can. And you're going to wake up one day and be like, man, I'm so glad I bought the dip. I'm so glad. And you're going to have a bunch of money in your portfolio, and you're going to be able to, take profit when everybody else is buying. So that's what I see here with Chainlink. It looks like a perfect market cycle. You have the volume. If you're trading crypto and you zoom out on the bigger time frames and you can learn how to spot these cycles. As long as you're trading coins with high volume, you can make money so easy in this market. Just buy the dip, buy the bottom of these market cycles, and you're going to make a bunch of money when they go back into the new bull market and everybody was panic selling when they should have been buying. But you're smarter than that and you're making money because you're buying the dip. It really is that simple, period. It's super simple. So that's my view on Chainlink. Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin before we call it a day. And by the way, Bitcoin is another great example of just continuous market cycles over and over again. I mean, look back here on Bitstamp. Look at this. Perfect market cycle. This is just exactly like what Chainlink did. Chainlink is like right here before it breaks out. Silver is like right here. You know, if we're talking about comparing them and where they're at in their cycles. And you can see this perfect market cycle. This is what I mean by zooming out to the higher time frames and buying the dip. And, you know, as long as you're trading something with volume, you're going to make money in these markets. Seriously. I mean, look at this. Another perfect example of a market cycle with an echo cycle afterwards where price comes back down, either to support or a little bit above it. It usually stops either right here or right here when it does these little echo cycles, and then boom, a new market cycle starts. And by the way, with Bitcoin always tests the 786 level. It'll always go down to that 786 level before it starts a new bull market. And you can see that every time. Look at Bitcoin in this bull market right here. If we measure from the peak low to the peak high, right down to the 786 Fibonacci level. And so it just continues. And by the way, when you break out into a new bull market, you're going to get above the old all-time high, a lot of times significantly. And we just barely got up to the old all-time high. So Bitcoin still has a lot of upside left. And if we're not looking on Bitstamp because there's no volume here, you can actually see, and let's not use Binance, let's use Coinbase. You can actually see how there's just continuous volume on Bitcoin. Increasing price and increasing volume is bullish. And look at that. So we're like at the old all-time high, and we really haven't broke out to go full force in this bull market like it does every time. And, you know, it's just a great time to buy the dip here on Bitcoin. It's a really good time to be buying. Increasing volume and increasing price is bullish. And by the way, again, let's go look at this older cycle here. You can see just in this cycle, just how high Bitcoin went above the old all-time high. Look how much higher it went than the old all-time high. Way higher. And if we go back over to the old cycles on Bitcoin, just to bring this point home and really get it in your minds how high this thing can go, look at this. Here is the cycle we were just looking at earlier on where we were comparing it to where Chainlink and Silver are at in comparison to their cycles. Look how high it went after it broke that old all-time high. It went so much higher when the new cycle started. So, you know, have a little bit of faith and look at the big picture, and you guys are going to make a lot of money because look at what happens when they break above their market cycle high, the peak high, and starts a new cycle. I mean, look how high prices go. So that's what I want you guys to remember in your minds. If we go back over to Chainlink here just one more time to really let you guys see this. I mean, Chainlink right now hasn't even broke its old all-time high. So imagine what's going to happen when it does get up to that old all-time high level and just how high it can go before it tops out again. Big things are coming in crypto. The name of the game is to be greedy right now. That's how you're going to make money. Because when this thing picks up and goes crazy like it did in 2021 or like it did in 2017, you're going to wish you had been buying the dip down here. So buy the dip now and you're going to be in those select few people that are just printing money when this thing takes off, which is what's coming. And by the way, when it takes off, it's going to be way bigger than people think. They'll break their old all-time highs and it's going to shoot up. And again, Bitcoin is at its old all-time high and it's got a lot of strength and conviction up here. We just got started on Bitcoin. You know, you saw how high those other examples went above their old all-time high. Imagine how high Bitcoin can go above its old all-time high this time. It could be really, really big here with Bitcoin. So I'm super excited about crypto, super excited about the markets as a whole. You guys be greedy right now. And later when everything's going nuts and it's clearly going completely parabolic, then you can be a little bit fearful and take some profits. But right now, you guys are smart. Do the right thing. Be smart. Be a real investor and actually buy when it's undervalued and sell when it's overvalued. You guys are adults. You can do this. You can make a bunch of money in the markets, or most of you are adults. I don't know. There's some kids that watch my channel, I'm sure. But either way, do what's smart to do. So that's my update on crypto. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Big things are coming. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. I love and appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. As always, stay profitable out there.